Hello everyone and welcome to a new video on the channel. Today's video is going to be the next part of my Blu-ray collection. Today we are on to the M's, of which I have quite a lot. So we will just get straight on with it. So first off, starting off very strong, Paul Thomas Anderson's Magnolia. I would say this is probably it was in my top 10, but my films move around. All I'll say is I love this film. I'd say I just slightly like Boogie Nights a little bit more, but I just love the characters and their stories that interweave in this film. And yes, it's a very long film, but it flies past because it's just such a great film, and the ending is just brilliant. Yeah, Magnolia. Then we have Made in Manhattan, um, which is a decent romantic comedy from the early noughties. I've seen it once on Netflix and I enjoyed it. I'm not a huge fan of Jennifer Lopez. I don't think she's a great actress. But I did enjoy this one. You got really good, obviously, got Ray Fiennes, who's a terrific actor, and you got really good small supporting performances from Natasha Richardson, Stanley Tucci, and Bob Hoskins as well. And yeah, it's just an enjoyable, easy watch for me. Next up, we have probably my favourite Kevin Smith film, Mallrats. Love this film. Just I think it was the first Kevin Smith film I watched. Very rewatchable film. Just very funny. Just very, like I said, easy to watch. I think it's Kevin Smith's, in my opinion, strongest film he's done. But it's between this and Clerks for me. Which is, like, I don't know which is my favourite over those two. Just about two best friends who spend the day in the mall trying to win their girlfriends back. Just very good characters in this. The first cameo from Stanley, which like sort of set up all the cameos he had in the MCU and all the other Marvel films. But yeah, great film this is, Mallrats. Next up we have, trying to look from the back cover. The Majestic, another film I love. One of my favourite Jim Carrey films is up there with Truman Show for me personally. I much prefer him as a dramatic actor. Don't get me wrong, I love some of his comedy films, but when he does drama, he usually hits it right where it should, like just right. And this basically is set post-war 50s, I think, about a Hollywood screenwriter who's not very successful, and they're trying to blacklist him because they think he's a communist. And he gets into an accident, and he washes up and awakes, can't remember who he is. And he wakes up in this small town, and they all think he's one of the the son of the theatre owner who went missing in war, come home. And it's just about him giving the little town hope again, and they reopen the theatre, and it's all set around the theatre, the Majestic. Love this film, directed by Frank Darabont, critically underrated director in my opinion. It's a shame he doesn't do anything anymore. In my opinion, every single film he's done has hit for me, whether you're talking The Shawshank Redemption, The Green Mile, then he did this, and then he did The Mist, which I love as well. I think those are the only films he's directed. Correct me if I'm wrong down below. But then obviously he went into The Walking Dead, but something went wrong there. But I hear that he's directing 2 episodes of the last series of Stranger Things, so we'll see what he does with those episodes. But yeah, The Majestic, highly recommend if you can find that anywhere. Next up, we have Mamma Mia. Won't talk about this. This is just a feel-good musical. Not the best, but puts you in a good mood. Then we have another fantastic film, Manchester by the Sea, which won Casey Affleck his Oscar. Rightly so, because he was fantastic in this film, as was everyone else in this film. Just a beautiful film. One of the strongest films of the year it came out, in my opinion. Then we have The Man from U.N.C.L.E., decent Guy Ritchie film. Obviously a remake of the original 60s series. Yeah, it was alright. Not disappointed that it didn't get a sequel, because it's just okay. It's a middling Guy Ritchie film for me. But yeah, it's one I would revisit again. Then just like a guilty pleasure, shall we say? Not guilty pleasure, but like one that I like going back to, but it's not a particularly great film. Mannequin. Just yeah, I've watched this so many times. The song "Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now" is my favorite song. Very quotable, very funny, very rewatchable. Just a great 80s comedy, in my opinion. Then we have a fantastic Denzel Washington film, Man on Fire. Probably my favourite Denzel film, if I'm being honest with you. Beautiful story, but it's still quite hard hitting and dark. About a CIA operative who works as a bodyguard for a young girl whose father's like I don't know, he's like a senator or something, I think, and she gets kidnapped, and he will do anything he can to get her back. Just brilliant film, and the conclusion's heartbreaking. You got Christopher Walken in this as well, Mickey Rourke. Great film, highly recommend that one if you've not seen it. Then we have The Man Who Invented Christmas, one I've only seen the once when it came out the cinema. I thought it was alright. I'll give it a go again this Christmas. It may not be one that stays in the collection now. Then we have The Man Without a Face, which I watched for the first time the other night. This is a new addition to my collection I probably haven't shown off before. Mel Gibson, who plays like an outcast who's disfigured, and he's got a bit of a past, and a young boy meets him, and they kind of form a connection. He becomes his tutor, his mentor, as it were. And that's all I'll say, because I don't want to spoil it, really. But yeah, that's The Man Without a Face. Decent film that was. Then we have Marcel the Shell with Shoes On. Just a nice little film. Sort of like a... It's not a documentary at all. It's like a docu-spoof type of thing. Like it's mockumentary. That's the word I was looking for. About a little shell and her journey. That sort of thing. It's sweet. Is it one that will stay in my collection? I'm not sure, because I think for me it might only be a one-time watch, so I might decide to cull that. Not sure. Next up, we have Marley and Me. If you don't cry at the end of this film, you have no soul. My opinion. Just a beautiful film about a family and the connection with their dog. Yeah, great film, and very funny as well, and bits as well. Then we have one of my favourite sci-fi films, The Martian, Matt Damon, Ridley Scott. Probably my favourite Ridley Scott film. I know that's saying something, considering he did Alien and Blade Runner and Gladiator, but I just love this film. I know it's not for everyone. Some people find it boring, but I love it. I think it's great. So it's probably, as I say, my favourite sci-fi film. I'm not a big sci-fi guy. So yeah, that's The Martian. Then we have Marry Me, another just alright Jennifer Lopez romantic comedy. I mean, it's made better with Owen Wilson. I like these sorts of stories. Similar sort of thing to like Made in Manhattan. But yeah, that's Marry Me. Then we have Matilda, a childhood classic for me. Didn't like the new one really. Didn't just like the musical aspect of it. But I really like this one. I've seen this so many times growing up. Then I've showed these together. We have The Matrix Reloaded and Revolutions. These, I'm fine with these on Blu-ray. They're not ones I'm going to go back to very often. They're the weakest sequels in my opinion. I know a lot of people don't like Resurrections. I like that as a sequel. I prefer it to these two. But yeah, still got to have these in the collection in case I want to binge watch all of them. Then we have Me Before You. Beautiful film. Really nice romantic drama. If you like your love stories, definitely a great one. Great British film as well. Moving on, we have Meet Me in St. Louis, however you want to say it. Judy Garland, directed by I'll try and get his name right. Vincente Minnelli, obviously, who she would go on to marry and have daughter Liza Minnelli with. I don't know if they had it. I think they had other children as well. But yeah, really good, really enjoyable, feel good film that is. Then we have Memento, Christopher Nolan's second film. Very good film. The twist is very good, very clever. Not my favourite Nolan film, but it's a solid one considering it was only his second. Then we have Message in a Bottle, Kevin Costner, Paul Newman, Robin Wright. What else is in it? Robbie Coltrane. Yeah, another just Middling romantic drama. I like Kevin Costner and I like Paul Newman, and this was one of his last films, so yeah, one that I wanted in the collection. And then we have Men in Black International. It was okay as sequels go. Obviously, it had a big Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones hole that they didn't really fill with Chris Hemsworth and Tessa Thompson, but it's okay. It was a serviceable enough sequel. It didn't ruin the previous films. You got Liam Neeson in there, Emma Thompson. So, yeah, they were alright. The Men Who Stare at Goats is one weird film, but it's one that I really like because it's very quirky. You've got Ewan McGregor, George Clooney, Jeff Bridges, Kevin Spacey, Robert Patrick. Just a very, like I say, very quirky film, but one that I enjoy. And then we have Michael Clayton, another George Clooney film. I think he won an. Was he nominated for an Oscar? I don't think he won. I think he won for Syriana, but he was nominated for this, I think. It was Tilda Swinton that won the Oscar. I know someone won an Oscar for this. But yeah, you've also got Sidney Pollack in this. Tom Wilkinson, who I think was nominated for an Oscar in this. Yeah, really good film about like a law firm's fixer type thing. And the dirty work that he has to do, and yeah, really interesting, really good, gritty film that is. Then we have a classic, Midnight Cowboy, Dustin Hoffman, John Voight, great film, very sad, just a great, iconic film. Then we have another one, which I'm debating on leaving the collection. I did enjoy it, and that's Megan, but I don't think I like it enough for it to stay in the collection. It's not one that I think I would really go back to that often, and if I did want to watch it, there's always streaming, but it's okay. Yeah, Megan. Then we have another great film, Meet Joe Black, Brad Pitt, Anthony Hopkins. It's hard to talk about this film without spoiling it. I will just say it's about a man who has everything basically, and he gets a visit from someone who tells him that he's basically going to die on his birthday, his 65th birthday, and in exchange for some extra time he wants him to show him how humans live basically. I'm not going to go into any more, but it's a really good film. It's quite long, but I really like it, and the score from Thomas Newman in this, oh my god, it's just what I think is one of Thomas Newman's best scores, especially the end bit. But yeah, I highly recommend that one. That's a great film. Then we have the other Men in Black films. These were out of order a bit because of the way that I've kept them, the space. But yeah, the first three Men in Black films, which I need to revisit because I haven't seen for a long time, but they're great films. Well, the first one is definitely. The second two I can't remember much about. Then we have Midnight Special. This is a Jeff Nichols film. Slowly becoming one of my favourite directors. This is probably second best film for me. It's this and another one that will be later up. Yeah, great sci-fi film again. Michael Shannon is fantastic in this, as is the rest of the supporting cast. But yeah, that is Midnight Special. Then we have Midway, which is just an okay war film, in my opinion. Migration, another one, probably won't stay in my collection. I'm not big on animated films anymore. This was okay as animated films go, but it's not one that I would go back to. Military Wives, yeah, I've seen this a few times now. It's just a feel-good, true story from the director of The Full Monty, Kristen Scott Thomas, Sharon Horgan. Yeah, just a feel-good film. Minions and Minions The Rise of Gru. These are probably exceptions because these are pretty good animated films as far as animated films go. These and the Despicable Me films. So yeah, these probably will stay in the collection. Then we have Minority Report, Steven Spielberg, Tom Cruise, another really good sci-fi film. Really like the way that this was done. One of Colin Farrell's first films. Yeah, great score from John Williams as well. Then we have Miracle on 34th Street, great classic Christmas film, Richard Attenborough. Attenborough, sorry. Yeah, really good film. Really enjoy that. Then we have Misery, absolute classic. Kathy Bates, fantastic. James Caan's fantastic in this. Great scene. The hobbling scene, oh, gets me every time. Definitely a must have. Then we have Missing Link. These are other films that I like. I really like the Leica films, but I think this is the only one I've got at the moment. I do need to get the other ones. I just like the animation style and the stories that are told. And I remember really enjoying this one. I think this was the last one they did. Yeah, Missing Link. Then we have Miss Congeniality 1 and 2. Really like the first one. The second one's not as good. Doesn't have the same quality. The Mist, talking about Frank Darabont. Just very tense film. Really like this one. And I think this has got the black and white? Yeah, includes the black and white version as well, which I'd be interested to see what that was like. The Mitchells versus the Machines, another animation film that I actually quite enjoy. I love the animation style and I really like the story in it. So yeah. Molly's Game, really good drama. Jessica Chastain, Idris Elba, Kevin Costner. Yeah, really enjoy this one. I really like Aaron Sorkin. Probably one of my favourite writers. One of my favourite series ever is The Newsroom. I really need to get down to watching The West Wing because I've heard great things about that. But yeah, that's Molly's Game. Then we have Mona Lisa's Smile, Julia Roberts. Yeah, this is a really good drama as far as dramas go. Yeah, enjoyable, that one. Moonfall, cheesy disaster film. I like these sorts of films. Is it the best? No, but it's alright for me. Moonrise Kingdom, Wes Anderson. I love Wes Anderson. I only got round to watching this quite recently. Just another great Wes Anderson film, I think. Then we have Money Monster with George Clooney and Julia Roberts. A really tense thriller directed by Jodie Foster. And it's quite compact, I would say, because it's only 99 minutes. But yeah, really like this one. Really good thriller that one is. Then we have The Money Pit, Tom Hanks, Shelley Long. When they buy a house and everything goes wrong. Really funny film that one is. Then we have A Monster Calls, another really quite sad, quite harrowing film about a boy's journey to try and come to peace with the fact that his mother is going to die, and he does that through the monster, who is brought to life by Liam Neeson, who kind of helps Connor navigate through his grief before his mother does eventually go on to pass away. Not a spoiler, it does say this on the back. It's what the film is about. It's all about, the film is about grief, basically. You know that from the get-go. If you watched the trailer, you would know that. So yeah, that's A Monster Calls. Then we have The Monuments Men, another one I need to rewatch because I don't remember thinking much of this, so it may not stay in the collection. Monster Trucks, yeah, enjoyable family film. I remember seeing this at the cinema and enjoying it. One that I need to rewatch, like a lot of these. Then we have Morning Glory, really like this one. I think this is a really charming film. Rachel McAdams, Patrick Wilson, Harrison Ford, Diane Keaton have great chemistry together. Jeff Goldblum as well, he's really good in this. Yeah, really good one that one is. Recommend that one if you like feel good uplifting films. Then we have Motherless Brooklyn, which is an Edward Norton film, which also stars Bruce Willis, Willem Dafoe, Alec Baldwin. Who else is in this? Gugu Mbatha Raw. I don't know if it says anyone else. Bobby Cannavale, Leslie Mann, Cherry Jones. Good cast, and it's good if you like your noir films. This one's definitely a must-watch. Really good. Modern, well, not modern, but you know what, newish noir films set in the 50s. Yeah, Motherless Brooklyn. On to the last pile, Moulin Rouge, probably my favourite musical of all time. Just love this film. The Mountain Between Us, a really nice drama, quite suspenseful drama with Idris Elba, Kate Winslet. I've seen this a few times now. Sort of like a love story as well, but yeah, if you like your isolated sort of dramas with only a few characters, then you'll like that one. Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium, another childhood favourite of mine. Just loved this film, just grew up on this, and just, as I say, love it. Another one I grew up on, Mrs. Doubtfire. Love this film as well. Probably my favourite Robin Williams film. Very watchable, very funny, very quotable. Yeah, Mrs. Doubtfire. My favourite Jeff Nichols film, Mud. Love this film. Watched this film not that long ago. Just a great, really great story. Great thriller. Great characters in this. Very suspenseful. Just a very overall great film. This really brought Matthew McConaughey back, I think. This was the film that really brought him back on the map, showed us that he can still act, he is still a good actor, and then he'd obviously follow this up with Dallas Buyers Club. So yeah, Mud, great film. Then we have Multiplicity with Michael Keaton and Andy McDowell, about a man who decides to clone himself so he can be a better husband and father. Yeah, great film, really funny again. Directed by Harold Ramis. I just love Michael Keaton. I'll watch anything with him in, and this is just a really funny film for me. Then we have Muriel's Wedding with Toni Collette, based, it has ABBA songs in it, about, I can't really remember what it's about, to be honest with you. I remember it being very funny. Yeah, it's all in German, so I can't really tell you what it's about, but if you like your Australian comedies, this is probably the quintessential one, in my opinion, Muriel's Wedding. Then we have Music Within, which is one that I discovered a few years ago, just on a whim, and I was shocked when they said that it was going to get a Blu-ray release, because it's a very, very small independent film from about 15 years ago that probably nobody's heard of, nobody's seen, and for it to get a Blu-ray release, I thought, wow. It's about a man who comes back from Vietnam who is very severely has hearing impairment, and he just finds a new purpose fighting for disabled rights, and he meets Michael Sheen's character, who's, I think he's got cerebral palsy, and he helps him basically. You got a really good performance from this, and I was shocked that he gave a straight performance in this. From Leslie Nielsen, probably one of his last films, who plays a doctor that they see. But yeah, if you can find this, I don't know how limited the Blu-ray was, but as soon as I saw it was up for pre-order, I got it. This is last year, I think. But yeah, really good, powerful drama, that one is. Then we have My Best Friend's Wedding, Julia Roberts, Cameron Diaz, Dermot Mulroney, Rupert Everett. Classic romantic drama, again, from the director of Muriel's Wedding, by the looks of things, I think. Yeah, My Best Friend's Wedding. My Cousin Vinny, another one that I only watched last week, I think, the week before. Loved it. Just love Joe Pesci. Just think he's great, especially in comedic roles like this. I think he just really works. It clicks. And, yeah, just very funny film. Then we have My Left Foot, Daniel Day-Lewis, who, this is the film that won him his first Oscar, won Brendan Fraser an Oscar as well. Really great true story about Christy Brown, who was a painter. He was born with cerebral palsy, and he could only control his movement through his left foot, as per the title. And just a very inspirational story. Yeah, great film, that one. Then we have My Sister's Keeper, another soppy type of drama, which I'm a sucker for if they're done well. And yeah, I like this one. I just think it's okay. It's obviously got Cameron Diaz in this, Alec Baldwin, Abigail Breslin. Yeah, it is a good film. Mystery Man, another great comedy, late 90s comedy. One of the first like superheroes films before they obviously became huge. But very funny as well. You've got great cast in this. Ben Stiller, Hank Azaria, William H. Macy, Janine Garofalo, don't know how you say her name, sorry. The late Paul Rubens, Kel Mitchell, Wes Studi, Greg Kinnear, Jeffrey Rush. Just a great cast in this. Tom Waits. Yeah, Eddie Izzard as well, just reading off the back. Yeah, really good, really funny film. two left. We have Mystic Pizza, one of Julia Roberts' first films, and I really like it. Another really pleasant, feel-good film set around these three best friends who live in a small town and they're waitresses at the local pizza place. Yeah, Mystic Pizza. And finally, My Week with Marilyn, a really good film about a week in Marilyn Monroe's life when she's making, does it say, The Prince and the Showgirl, and she meets a young man who is played by Eddie Redmayne, who she kind of has a relationship with, but not like a sexual relationship. They just have like a connection with each other. But it's a good film. Laurence Olivier played by Kenneth Branagh in this, who was fantastic. Obviously Marilyn Monroe played by Michelle Williams. You got Judi Dench in this as well. Emma Watson, Zoe Wanamaker, Julia Ormond, Dominic Cooper. Yeah, great film this is. If you've not seen it, definitely really another feel-good British film. Yeah, My Week with Marilyn. So sorry it's gone on for almost half an hour, but there was a lot to show there, but I tried speeding through the second half. But that is all of my M's. So have you got any of these? Are there any that you think I'm missing that I should add to the collection? Let me know down below. If you like the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, and turn your notification bell on so you know when I have a new video uploaded to the channel. Comment down below anything and everything. As you know, I always take the time to get back to anyone that leaves me a comment because I really do appreciate it. And that is it. So until next time everyone, take care. Goodbye.